We used to have like a Polynesian theme, like you could see like the tiki statue back there, and it's like half rotted off. It had full legs and feet, and as it rots, I cut it and it gets shorter and shorter, but it was like 6 feet tall. So we had that kind of stuff. Over here we had banana trees, and we would put hibiscus, and it had like a tropical theme back here, and every year we'd get all kind of flowers and stuff and put them around here to make it seem like tropical, but it's just too much to take care of now. And we had bamboo across the back there, and then this whole fence was like bamboo all along here. And you can see the way this bamboo is like falling apart now. It kind of looks really rough. So I'm gonna get rid of this stuff. I'm gonna take this bamboo down, get rid of the statue. I already took all the bamboo that was along the fence here, and we're not buying any more of those plants and putting big potted plants of banana trees and all that stuff out. So what I've been doing is going with more like an arid feel, more like a desert feel. So I get like stacks of rocks with the yuccas, and all the plants are all gone. So it's just rocks and yuccas here, and I just put these stacks here of rocks here. And I think I'm gonna take this down and put regular slats of wood on this, where we hide all our mechanics back here. And I think I'm gonna do like more of a southern Italy, Greece kind of Rome. Here's the ruins of the Colosseum, and just rock piles everywhere, and that way I could just spray Roundup and just kill any weeds that come up or anything and not have to do anything. All I have to do to take this bamboo off is take out screws. So I've got two, I'm gonna show you behind here. So I put in a couple posts, and I just ran these deck boards across it the whole length here, and the bamboo is just screwed to this. So I just gotta go around and take all these screws off, and this is like a roll of bamboo, and then I'll just burn it and then throw away the wire that's left. But then I have to find some kind of wood to put on the front of this. I don't want it to look like a fence post. I want it to look more like a wall. Let's see what we got. Got that all done. Everything came out pretty easy. All the screws came out. Nothing broke. Nothing was rusted bad enough. The statue was literally falling apart as I was moving it. And the only problem I had is wasps. Wasps and hornets were inside the bamboo, and I think they were in the cracks of this wood that was rotting. So as I was doing it, I had to swat the wasps away and try to kill a couple of them as I was going. But yeah, everything came out, and it was 2 long rolls. It was just 2 long rolls of bamboo is what it was. And this looks like, man, I didn't realize it was this long. I think these are like 16 feet long. And I have some boards that I'm going to use, but I don't know if I have 16 feet worth. So what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to start in the center, put a center strip, and then work my way from the center out. And maybe I can get it from post to post, and if I can't get these ends, I'll just trim off the ends, and I'll just see how much wood I have to cover this. To the burn pile with this guy. We used to call this guy the god of peeing in the pool. If any kids tried peeing in the pool, he'd know. All right, phase 1 of the operation is complete. All the old stuff is gone. In the pool yard right here, before these hemlocks got really big, I used to have a pecan tree, 2 black walnut trees, and then another pecan tree. And I started them from seedlings, and just the way the contour of the ground is and the water coming off the farm field would come down along that edge. Those 2 pecan trees and black walnuts grew so big, so fast. They were beautiful. But what happened is the walnuts actually started producing walnuts and dropping walnuts into the pool yard and on the sidewalk. Everywhere those black walnuts dropped, I would get a green stain. So we were getting green stains in the pool circles from the walnuts. And then the first tree to go was this pecan tree. It was kind of, I don't know, it might have been like 20 foot tall, whatever. I cut that right down, burned it. The 2 walnut trees went. They were pretty big. And the last tree we kept was right there, was this giant pecan tree. I mean, it got giant. And it started growing and leaning over the deck up there, so we constantly cut branches, and then it started producing pecans, and the pecans were all over. There are thousands of them, pecan nuts all over the place, and it started creating a bald spot in the grass over there. So I made a video a while ago cutting that down, and I was left with some nice board feet. The trunk of it was really nice, so we kept the trunks, and I took that trunk to a mill, and I had them mill some planks. I'm gonna show you that. So here's the wood, all the planks, and there's small pieces in there, and I've been using them. I've been using them over the years. It's been a couple years. So I've been using them, but underneath there, there's some full plank. There's planks in there. And I pulled one out to show you, and this is what it looks like. It actually looks really cool, like really nice. So all the small pieces, I got some crates here. I'm going to crate up all the small pieces and we'll burn them in the wood stove and finally get rid of this pile. Like, I got to start cleaning stuff up. I got more stuff stacked everywhere. It's time for a lot of stuff to go. So all the small pieces I'm going to put to the side, and I'm going to pull out all these planks and start in the middle, work our way out and see what we got. Well, here's what I got. Here's all the boards that I took out. Some are tall, some are short. I mean, there's some really nice ones in here. Like these 4 here, man. They're pretty straight and pretty flat. But they're the shortest ones, so I think I'm going to start with those. I might go a flat one, then a skinny one, and I'll start in the middle. But I don't have a planer, so I can't get them nice and flat. They're kind of rough. But that's all right. Like the edges aren't like, it's rough cut from a mill. And some of them are, I think like this one, are buckled like a potato chip, so they're not really flat. This one looks like it has a curve to it. But that's all right, guys. Remember, this is supposed to be like ancient Rome or ancient Greece after it was destroyed and fell apart. So let's start in the middle and work our way left and right. I did bring a level, so I do want the boards to be level, the seams, so it looks somewhat right. And I'll see how this goes. All right, there's the first board. I don't know if you can see it. Well, it's level. I actually leveled it left and right, but there's, I don't know what is going on, but there's like 5 or 6 wasps just hovering around trying to get me the whole time. Look at that sucker right there, man. So what's happening is I'm actually putting up boomerangs and potato chips. So they're buckled and they're bowed and they're buckled, and you can see the gap on this one right here. I actually overlapped it because if I would have put the edge to edge, this gap in the middle would have probably been like 2 inches wide. So before I screwed it in, I overlapped it, and I'm gonna get I got the circular saw, so I'm gonna stick the circular saw in here and I'm going to score this board just enough to let it sit down in there, and then screw it on, just so my gap doesn't get any bigger than that. All right, that's all the boards I had, and I'm kind of happy I made it out to the post on this side, so the post will be hidden, and then on the other side I made it to the post, but then I went a little bit past it, so it's not the boards aren't completely centered. The other side stops here, but I gave it another foot on this side because when you're sitting out here on this angle, coming from sitting, it's easier to see the pool stuff behind there from this angle than from over there, because there's nothing over there. So I added more fence to this. So now I'm just going to I'll cut this extra stuff hanging off the planks here on each side, because that fence was pretty far across anyway. I just made it that long because that's how long those rolls of bamboo were. They must have been 2 8-foot rolls, which would have been 16 feet, and these deck boards here that I used are 16 feet long, so it doesn't really need to be 16 feet long. That's done. So now I'm looking at these seams here, and I'm really thinking about taking these scraps, all the cutoffs, and screwing them to this back side here. The only thing I'm worried about is if I get this piece and I put it like that, it's going to leave a place for wasps inside there. So I don't know if I want to do that. The way it is now, they have no place to make nests. They're not going to like that. But if I start putting a wall with a gap to cover these, it might get overrun with wasps behind there and connecting on little wasp nests. I don't know. Well, you know how it goes. Once you start, you just do it. Now with those scraps, I pretty much covered up every stinking split that I thought was pretty big. I think except for one. Yeah, except for like that area right there. But all the other ones were covered up, and you know, actually, it don't look bad. You still see, it still looks like the boards are kind of like really separated, but you can't see air through them. You can't see the daylight behind them. So it's a little bit deceiving. It almost looks like a solid wall now because of like the board and batten kind of thing I did in the back there. But yeah, that's a solid wall there. And I put the birdhouse back up on the corner for the little wren. While I was looking around in the garage there, and I have two old cans. This one feels a little solid. This got some in it. One's clear satin, one's semi-gloss, but it's polyurethane, whatever they are. Water-based, fast drying. And I'm just going to use what I got. I'm going to get rid of these cans that sit in the garage and try to slap them on there and see what happens. Maybe give it some kind of protection for a little while. We're going to call this like 90% done. I just put the second coat along the bottom. It's wet. Put the rocks up there. All we got left to do is get some statues, maybe some concrete or some real stone ones. Some of the Roman Empire. No philosophers, no poets, just Caesars. Maybe Hadrian, Tiberius. If we go with the Greek mythology, we're going to go with Homer. As long as it corresponds with the Orlinda book, we're going to get some of them guys out here, some of the mythology stuff. If we can find something, I don't know. I'm going to search Facebook Marketplace and see if anybody's got anything on there. I'm not buying anything new, but just a little decoration. I'll center out my pad there, level it up, and maybe put a pillar or a statue there or something. And that's it, man. That's it.